We'll create a production build for our application in this step. What we'll do is we will build the front-end application and we'll copy over the build artifacts, the folder that is generated, the files in that folder, the dist folder. We'll copy it over to the backend project. And then we'll make sure our backend itself is a full-fledged application with both the front-end and the backend files together. So first we'll set up a .env.production because that is the environment variables that will be used when we create a production build. So we'll set the node env to production. So this is being done in the client app, in the front end app. And we are going to tell that the view app API base URL once the for the production will be, since we are going to generate the build folder and copy our files from the client to the server, the front end app files will also be served from the server itself, from the backend app. So there'll be no separate front end app after that. So the API requests don't have to go to some other domain. They'll be going to the domain from which the front end files itself will be served. That is wherever the server runs. Therefore, it will be just /API. Please don't forget the slash. So it's from the server's domain, from the server's base path. /API / wherever server is served, a server serves, from there /API / what will give us the data. So now that we have configured the front end app for production environment, we are now ready to build it. So I'll stop the running client and we are in the client folder only, and we'll npm run build. This is going to take some time. Now we have the production build created. It would have used the environment.production variables, and we have the dist folder. So this is the folder which has our front-end application. So this should be a fully working application. So we need to copy this to the server's public folder. Now we don't have any public folder right now in here. So we need to write a script. So you can, of course, you can copy it. You can just Control-C, Control-V or whatever, and copy it from here to here. That is also possible, but we'll automate the process. We'll install two packages. One is rimraf. This is like rm-rf, that is, it will remove forcibly all folders. So we'll clear out if there's any public folder in the server using this rimraf package. This we are installing in the client side itself. So the script will be run from the client project. We'll install rimraf and we'll install copy files. Alternately, and also use cpx, but the syntax will be different. Copy files is to copy this dist folder to the server folder. Rimraf, if there's already one public folder, we'll be deleting the server public using rimraf. Now we'll make a small modification to the package.json's build script. So instead of just doing this much, we'll continue the build. So you can write more commands. So once this is successfully executed, this command, if you want to continue to the next step after it's successfully executed, you can just put a double and. That's how these scripts work. So, and then this will work on Linux and Mac. If it doesn't work on Windows, you can just manually run rimraf and you can manually run copy files. So essentially you can write one to run rimraf. That will be you run rimraf and you go one level up and then down to the server folder. This is why it's important to have the client and server as siblings, because this path will take care of it. If you have not created, then you have to adjust this path. We have not created it as siblings. So server, and then we'll delete the public folder within it. And then we'll use copy files to copy the disk folder into the server's public folder. So we'll say copy files and -u1, we'll see what this does. And we need to copy everything that's within the disk folder. So we'll say dist slash, you may have to adjust this on Windows for this slash, you can check it out. It's better to take a backup of your files before you do this. Just copy the client and server somewhere if you're trying it on Windows. I've tried this on Mac, it'll work for Linux. And you'll be copying it to one level up, server inside public. So what did this -u1 do? So what this will do is, if you just say without -u1, it will copy all the files within dist to server public, including the dist folder itself. So it will be, what will be created is server slash public slash dist, and whatever is within dist will be there within public slash dist here. So I don't want that. I want all the files within dist to be copied directly to server public and not create an extra slash dist here. So -u1 does that. So it just goes up one directory from the match files and puts it in the output. So let's run it, it'll be clear. So if you're using Windows, you can run build followed by rimref followed by copy files. Essentially npm run build. Which we actually did already. We have the dist, then npm run rimref. So it would have deleted any public folder within server. There is no public folder, so it's fine. And then npm run copy files. And so it has copied the disk folder into public as those files are copied in server public. If you're using Linux or Mac, you can also do this, which is you can say and on successful completion of that first UAV-CLI service build command, run this. On successful completion of that, run this. There's also packages which will allow you to run serially. Even on Windows, you can install one of those packages if you want, npm packages. I believe it's called npm run or something like that. So if you do like this on Linux and Mac, definitely what you can do is you can simply run npm run build. That is sufficient. And it will build and it will delete the public and recreate the public folder in server. So now we are ready to serve from here itself. All the files are here, front-end files are there in a server folder. We have to do a few changes in app.js. For anything, any URL as the last middleware, last set of middleware, the error handlers. After all our API middleware, etc. is passed through, we'll set up the API on API request /API. If it begins with /API, the error handlers will set it up. For any other things that don't begin with /API, so first of all, we will set up the static file server as one of the first middleware. So we'll set up after course app.use express static file server, where we'll ask Express to serve from the public folder. So essentially it's going to look into the public folder first for things like HTML, CSS, JavaScript. So we'll check here for any matching paths. So for example, if we request for so I think it's not copied properly. Let me check. Only the JS folder is copied. It's not copied the index HTML. Okay, I think I must be doing something wrong in this package.json script. Okay, I think I just need to say star, not star, star, slash star. Let me try again. Now it's not copied the JS folder. I made a small change. So I said copy files -u -1 and then I put within double quotes. I don't know, this solves the issue. /dit/star/star/star. Okay, so make sure your JS files as well as index.html and favicon files are copied to server public. Now if I run it, like I'll delete it first. Okay, now I'll run the build. In Windows, of course, you have to run npm run build, npm run rimraf, npm run copy files. Okay, now in the generated public folder, we have the JS files and the HTML files. So that's a problem, I corrected it. Now back to our server folder. I close out the client. Server has the public folder. In app.js, we have included the static file server as one of the first middleware after CORS, right after that. So we wouldn't actually require CORS in production environment. So if you want, you can check if node.env, process.env.node.env is development, only then enable CORS. So this is one more check you could do. So it's always good not to have CORS. So if possible, so because our front end is also in the same domain as the backend. So we won't be making cross-domain requests when making API calls from our Vue.js script. So that is one thing. We set up the static file server to serve the files from public folder. Then for any other things that don't match the public folder and which are not API requests, don't start with /API. It's going to come to pass this, because now we are filtering only these error handlers only for API requests, /API it should begin with. Then what we do is we will handle it here and we will make sure that we always serve the index.html page. This way we can hit any URL, any other URL. It will serve as the home page of the Vue.js application. Then the Vue.js router will kick in and it will redirect to the normal either page not found or whatever page it might be. So we'll write this one middleware at the end, which will always send the index.html. We'll always send that file if none of the routes matched. So with this setup, now if we run the server, so I'll stop and start again the server. Now if we go to the backend URL, localhost 3000, we are able to get the front-end application served, the index.html served. We can go to any URL because of the last middleware we set up. You might be wondering, is it right to show this when it doesn't actually match index.html? It's not the home route. That will be handled by your Vue.js router. So you would have set up a route for page not found or something in that case, or it might be actually a page like admin. It will take you to the admin page or whatever. So once the application loads, the Vue.js router will route you to the right component or to the right URL. So, but at least the index.html file should be served at all costs, so that in the Vue.js router will route finally to the right page. So we needed to set this up. So with this, we have come to the end of this step. Now we'll be moving on to actually creating a MongoDB Atlas account and setting up our database online.